Hey guys, it's Jen over at worldofjencraft.com, and as promised, this is part number 2 in my Magical Days mini series. Isn't this little mermaid just absolutely adorable? Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to cards 1, 3, and 4. So this is the first one that I did. This will be our third card and our last and final card. Pretty darn simple, actually. Let's get to the supplies. Tuxedo Black Memento ink is what I use to stamp my images. The Magical Day stamp set and framelits, which are in the Occasions catalog and 10% off if you order it as a bundle. I use the Celebrate You Thinlits, which is in the Sale-A-Bration catalog and is free with a $100 purchase. My go-to layering circles framelits, the Seaside embossing folder. I also use my Stampin' Blends to color in my Little Mermaid and the Seahorse, and a little bit of Wink Stella to finish it off. For paper, if you would like to go over to my blog, worldofjencraft.com, leave a comment on this post. I will draw for someone to win a pre-cut card kit to send to them. For this card, you are going to need a 4 1/4 by 11 Whisper White, scored at 5 1/2 for the top fold card. A scrap to stamp your images on, and then another scrap to cut out the word Celebrate. Basic black cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4, a 2 1/2 inch scalloped circle, and a little scrap to cut out the word You. Pool Party is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Myths and Magic Glimmer Paper is 2 3/8 inch circle, and the Myths and Magic Specialty DSP is a 2 1/8 inch circle. So let's get started by coloring out our Little Mermaid first. And I'll go ahead and I'll fast forward. I really didn't do anything special as far as shading. I will show you how I did her face, but the rest of the body and the Little Mermaid, Seahorse, I'll go ahead and fast forward through. Alright, so since all of this has all been colored in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the ivory to color in her face and her little arms. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark pink pirouette. I've tried the light, but it doesn't show up as nicely. And I'm just going to take and give her some rosy cheeks. So that's all I did for the cheeks. Now for the eyes, let me see if I can actually do this again. I wanted to give her, oh, I don't know, just some eyeshadow. I don't know why, but she just felt like she needed a little bit of color on her tops of her eyes. So very, very carefully, I just kind of laid in some, that might be too much, but I just kind of laid in some of the light Night of Navy. And then I came back, got a little flower stuck on here. I came back over it again with my color lifter just to kind of lift that up a little bit because I didn't want it super dark. And that'll just kind of lighten that up. And I actually think that turned out pretty sweet. You can kind of see now she has 80s eyeshadow. It didn't turn out as dark in the first one, but you know, I can never get things to turn out the same twice in a row. I don't know about you guys. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab out our Big Shot, and we're going to cut out these and emboss our Pool Party cardstock. So let's go ahead and get our dies from over here in this pile that I just covered up. And I'm just going to stick her on here, line the die up as best I can from this angle. It's kind of tough to see from here. And then this sweet, sweet little teeny tiny seahorse. I just love it. It's so cute. Okay, I think that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in my plate that came with the Big Shot. Grab out our Pool Party cardstock and our Seaside embossing folder, and I want our waves to go side to side on our cardstock. So I'm just going to lay it in here like this and then run it through my Big Shot with both of my plates on here. So let's get to assembling the rest of the card, which doesn't really take too long at all. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to adhere my basic black to my white base. And that's just going to go centered in here. And then I'm going to do the same on this, being careful not to distort my piece. Because it was distorted anyways with the embossing, but I found that when I put my adhesive on it, it kind of wants to pull it and make it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to be really careful with how I put my adhesive on this. And that's just going to go on top of our basic black, and it may not line up in the end just perfectly, just due to how the cardstock is kind of stretched out a little bit. So we'll just do the best that we can on here. Yeah, so I have a little bit left. I got fuzz down here. I must need a new trimmer on my blade, or blade on my trimmer. Anyways, let's just get past that and pretend that that's not even there. So I did not put any Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my black scallop. I just felt like I didn't need that much more dimension on this. So we'll go ahead and put adhesive on all of these and layer up our circle. I just love the way that glimmer paper is. Now for this piece of circle, I'm going to use a strong adhesive because I have found that if I use just my Tombow adhesive, it doesn't want to stick as well onto that glimmer paper because the glitter wants to come off onto it. So I'm just going to use some red line tape. You can also use glue dots to do this. That would work as well. Now I'll give you a little tip. I did try to use my fine tip glue pen. However, it didn't want to stick. Now I don't know if I just didn't use enough adhesive on it, like enough glue, but for some reason it just dried up and wouldn't stick on there. So I would not recommend the fine tip glue pen for this particular thing. So then that's just going to get centered onto here. Our little mermaid is going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals. And then she's just going to get put over here, kind of off-centered. I guess my card kind of wandered off the screen. It has a tendency to want to do that. And then for my little seahorse, if I can pick him up down here, I'm just going to put him on a little glue dot. Now, I've noticed that my card kind of keeps coming out of the screen. I've adjusted my camera a little bit, so try and keep it up here because you know that's frustrating watching someone's stuff go off the screen and you can't see what they're doing. The Celebrate, I am going to use my fine tip glue pen, and I'm going to put my Celebrate and my U on using it. So my Celebrate is just going to go right about here, just kind of down a little bit and centered from the circle and on both sides. I'm just going to give that a little press to make sure that it sticks on. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same with my U. And then that's just going to go down here in this corner here. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and brush on some of my clear Wink of Stella, just to give her a little bit more shimmer. I know we have shimmer in the background paper and We have shimmer and the glimmer paper, but I don't know, I just kind of felt like the mermaid needed to sparkle as well. So now if you wanted to, you could also take your Wink of Stella, and you could go ahead and put that on the word celebrate, and I think that would look really pretty as well. However, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at this because I think we have enough sparkle going on in this card. There you have it. Isn't that just super cute? I love the way this card turned out. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you would like dimensions and a supply list, printable, downloadable, please visit my website, worldofjencraft.com, and I will check you later on part number 3. Have a wonderful day. Bye.